Welcome to Fourth and Nine of Victory. I'm your boy Fight on Kristen.
And I'm your boy B Jenkins. Welcome back to another show.
Yes, we're here to do our USC Oregon recap. Unfortunately, the boys came up short. We came up short as USC Nation yesterday. We lost that game 42-27. A lot of things went into that game. B, I don't know about you, but I know initially yesterday I was throwing my hat. I was upset. I
Yeah,
was angry. I was hurt. Today, I'm just more disappointed. So I'm working through my stages. But
right.
having a day to reflect and just really think about things and where the program is headed.
Yeah.
I'm in a lot better situation. Of course, we would have loved to make the playoffs, but I mean, if you think about it, we were a 10.5 point underdog for a reason.
Right.
Going to the game, of course, Vegas was looking at rosters and play on the field this year and everything. Second time we had a double digit spread, right, and both
Right.
of them came out true. That was at the Notre Dame as well. But I think many USC fans before the season even started, right, before any play on the field, even in our projection, we were saying 10-2, 9-3 on the season.
Right.
This was
That's right.
this Notre Dame where the two games most people had pinned in as a loss already anyway. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Going on the road, right? So I mean, it still doesn't negate the fact that there was some play in there that we just like with Notre Dame, one or two plays. Well, it was more than one or two Saturday, but some plays that if we could have back, the outcome could have been, a lot different. I've seen something today where it was saying Oregon dominated USC. It wasn't a domination, right?
No,
You know what
no,
I
no.
mean?
No, it
I
was
mean,
a
at one point we was at a one-score game, in the second
right.
half. So it wasn't as if it was just a total beat
Well,
down as they're trying to make it out to be.
we came in from kickoff and marched right down the field. We took the ball as I expected we would, march right down the field. If you go back and you look at that game, and I posed this question during the live. Did Oregon beat USC or did USC aid in them beating us? So once you get past the initial sting of it, you think about, like you said, you think about the direction that the program is heading. That Lincoln Riley is really starting to get his footing. He's been provided a bunch of resources that he didn't get in the beginning. I think this program is headed in the right direction. Right now, we're sitting at 8-3. Got the opportunity to go 9-3. If you count a bowl game, we could possibly finish with a double-digit win, something we haven't done since 2022.
Okay. Okay. 1 second here. All right, so let's get right on into it with our first segment. Victory Sunday. Of course, we just stated we came up short. We didn't win, but we always still do our Victory Sunday, right? We always like to start it off with the positive, what the team did well, what we need to do. We definitely have two more games, right? We have
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
um, next game coming up against the little brother baby Bruins. Can't take them lightly. Definitely
Right.
a bowl game. So to finish this year out strong, right? Regular season go 9-3. Overall season go 10-3. What
Right.
are some things you've seen in the game yesterday that we did well? We need to continue to do to keep this moment. To get back on the winning track, finish the season with 2 wins, and keep this momentum going with this number one 2026 class coming in already starting strong for 2027 and keep the momentum of the program going where it's headed.
Well, I saw we did well on yesterday was pass the ball. Jay, when given an opportunity, Jaden Miava can get the ball to the receivers. I saw that we have some outstanding receivers. We talk about the future of this program. It's a possibility that Makai Lemon heads off to the NFL, um, but you got a receiver in Tanook Hines is coming up right behind him. That I look to take on that spot. Don't know whether or not Jacoby's coming back, but we'll discuss that at a later time. Um, I learned that we can be tough in spurts, but we have to get better from a mental aspect. I think little things that you expect for the guys to know, infractions for them not to commit during the game. I think we had a little bit of a mental lapse than anything. I think that can be corrected along with experience and age as they continue to grow as a team. The ceiling for this for this team. You mentioned it. We got a game coming up next week, next Saturday against the crosstown rivals. It's going to be a tough game. This type of game where you can throw the records out of the window. It doesn't matter. These games have somewhat of I would consider to be somewhat of a grudge match. Still, and I expect for this team to win that game, going into the bowl game preparation, wherever we land. I think it should be a pretty good landing spot from a bowl perspective when you look at a team who's 9-3 and possibly we're still in the top 25. I think we like right around 19-20. So you get a
19.
win.
Well, in the AP, I seen who was 19.
Yeah, yeah. So you get that win next week. We can possibly jump up to number 16, depending on how efficient we are. So the ceiling, I'm looking at least finishing out strong. Of course, we got the recruiting that closes down next month. Well, excuse me, that starts back up next month with signing day. So we can finish with a top 5 in recruiting and finish off the season with two solid wins. I say we headed in the right direction.
All right. So for me, what we did well that I've seen is that we seen flashes, not flashes, but we
Hmm.
seen a glimpse of a future with our young talent, especially at the
Right,
wide receiver position.
right.
Um, uh, I do believe Maiva's going to come back, so that Maiva to Hines play that they did and the connection that they had, that was very well. Also, like what I've seen is that again we can we continue to fight to the end. Like I
Right.
said, if you look at the score, with 15 points, really
Mhm.
14. We were trying to climb back. We had got it within 8 points in one possession. We didn't get the 2 point conversion, dropped the ball. But we continued to fight to the end because we could have easily packed it up after the terrible first half we played, going into
Right.
halftime down 14. I like that the defense came out right because Oregon got the ball first, and they did actually finally make a stop.
Right.
And so what we need to continue to do, defense, get turnovers, right? Need to still be the offensive play calling was uh very, what's the word I'm looking for? It was like Riley has been doing all year. We've seen some very unique plays,
Hmm.
some different plays and different sets, some creative plays, right?
Right. Right.
Continue that. Um, it wasn't the majority of the game, but we did see the the defensive line played better, right? They wasn't consistently being pushed 4 and 5 yards back like that. They wasn't getting off blocks or getting penetration, but they were at least holding them up. And there were times where we was able to, hold Oregon to 2 yards, right, on the ground and not to 4 or 5 or 6. If we can get a whole game of that from our defense, we must continue to do that and not keep giving up the big runs on the ground and the 4 yards or more. So we continue to do those things. We'll be good these next 2 games. Definitely the next game. Don't know where we'll line up or who we'll match up with in the bowl game. Um, that'll wait to be seen. And then we don't even know who will be playing in those bowl games, right? No one takes
Right.
bowl games seriously anymore. Roster be completely flipped. Everybody be in the portal or everybody sitting out to go to the NFL. So,
That's
but
true.
those are things that I seen that we did well yesterday. But more importantly, I'm more focused on the regular season, right? Let's finish the regular season off 9-3, beat the baby Bruins. All right.
Mhm.
All right. This is the point we're going to review some game stats. We're not going to give grades. We have a video that's coming out for that. So I will just go with our leaders. B, you could tell me, is that visible
Yeah. Yeah.
or a little bigger?
A little bigger might be better.
All right, let
Just a
me make
little.
it a little bigger. We want the people to be able to see.
That's cool.
All right. Of course, Jaden Mivel led us in passing, 25 for 43, 306 yards, had 3 touchdowns, had 2 interceptions. Makai Lemon, Makai
Right.
Lemon was 1 for 1 for 24 yards in the TD. I don't know why, but that pass looked like it was long. Well, that's because he was about a good 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage. I about to say that
Yeah.
touchdown looked like it was longer than 24 yards. But Kudos to Makai Lemon, 1 for 1. King Miller rushing. He led us with 15 carries for 30 yards.
Hmm.
We definitely couldn't get the run game going
Right.
Saturday. Wide receiving to Nick Hines. We just talked about that connection with
Right.
him and Mavo, a glimpse of the future. 6 receptions, 141 yards, 1 TD. His longest reception was 51 yards. Give Jacoby Lane his props. He didn't get in the end zone, but whenever we needed, he was coming up with big catches. Six
Right.
catches for 108 yards. Not only that, he had at least 3 or 4. You know that should count. That I think those should count for pass yards, right? All those
Right.
15-yard pass interferences who's getting called on them.
Right.
Uh,
That's true.
yeah, he had about 3 or 4, but they don't count that. Makai Lemon had 7 receptions for 34 yards and 2 TDs. Um, Fumbles lost. Fumble. Jerry Marvel fumbled, but he didn't lose it. Um, Tackles. Desmond Stevens led the team with 17 total tackles, 11 solo. He had 1 tackle for loss.
Hmm.
He was tied with Devin Tompkins, who had 1 tackle for loss. Kennedy Erlacher led us in interceptions with the 1 interception.
Hmm.
Makai Lemon, we didn't actually return any. Kickoffs, 1 punt for 4 yards. Ryan Sierra, man. The kid has had a great year. Just unfortunate, everyone has a bad day and everyone can is
Right.
susceptible to a bad day. It's just unfortunate he had his bad day and one of the most pivotal games, but he did miss his field goal. Sam Johnson, of course, led us in punts. Sierra bounced back, man. The kid is good. He's had a
Yeah.
phenomenal season, man. Everyone can have a bad day, man. Like sometimes it just happens, man. All
Yeah.
right.
It does.
Moving right along to our next segment. Men lie, women lie. Numbers never lie, but they can be misleading. In this segment, we always like to talk about if you didn't watch the game and you just looked at the stats or the box score, what is a stat in there that can be misleading, that don't tell the whole story of the game?
I would have to say our penalties, man. I think that's really what killed us. We
I don't
talk
know if
about
that was misleading though, because we got over 100 yards in penalties. So I
well,
don't know.
well. I'm talking about its impact on our final score. You got to remember a lot of those penalties that we get gave the ball right back to Oregon. We don't get the ball right back to them, then more than likely they don't score 42 points. You got to remember on that special teams penalty, the field goal. At the most, Oregon walk away with 3 points, right? So their school, what I mean by that is their score can be somewhat misleading. The 42 points, because a lot of those points that they got, our special teams gave them those points.
Right.
So
So
if
it's
you
their
wasn't looking
final
right,
score.
so if you that's what I'm saying. So if you wasn't looking at wasn't looking at the game, you didn't see the number of penalties that caused us to give the ball right back to them. You would think that, hey, look, Oregon pretty much manhandled the Trojans, but they didn't. So I credit us being undisciplined, the team being undisciplined, as the reason why Oregon was able to pull up the amount of points that they did. So that's the misleading stat that I would have to say counted aided in our loss. So yeah, Oregon
So
score.
my misleading stat as well is going to be the same thing. It's Oregon final score of
Yeah,
42. If you didn't look at the game, you just looked at it, it's like, oh, they beat them by 16 points. You would think it was a total domination of a game. We were never in it, and things are like that, and that Oregon just totally took us to the woodshed. But like you said, that the final score of the game is a little bit misleading. Like I said, we're in one possession game. We had got some momentum in that second half, right? And it felt like we were about to do it. But again, we talked about the undisciplined play we had, the penalties, the um, special teams performance, and things of that nature. So it wasn't just a total domination of just Oregon took us to the woodshed. A lot of it was just on undisciplined play, and like I said, things happening that normally don't happen. And especially in that first half, we couldn't have played a worse first half, and it wasn't due to Oregon making plays. It was us just doing silly stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Just
Shoot ourselves in the
undisciplined
foot.
stuff.
Right. Shoot
Right.
ourselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Right.
Shooting our stuff in the foot. So for me, it's going to be the final score as well. That doesn't tell the whole story of the game because this was not a total beat down, a total domination, a total we was just out physical and bullied all game
Right.
type of game.
Right.
All right. Our next segment. Of course, we didn't win, but we still do this because if even you can't accept it in a win, you definitely can't accept it in a loss. But
Hmm.
never accept anything in a win that you win in a loss. And before I let you go, I do want to preference this is that uh, a lot of times we do this segment. We've done this segment all year, right? We do
Right.
all these
Right.
segments all year. We get comments and things where people are on us because they're like, "We won the game. Why are you looking at the? Why are you looking at the negative? Why are you being picky? Why are you pointing this out?" And we always say, we do this segment because we're film watchers. We're looking at this from a coach's view.
Right.
So even in a win, you can't accept these things because when you play top tier teams, when you get in close games, these are the type of things that'll cost you games,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And
It's true.
the things we've seen Saturday are things we've pointed out in this segment over and over again. And we see the comments and we appreciate it. We'll never get angry about it. We love it. We invite you to call in and stuff as well. But we
Right.
just want to preference. That's why we have this segment. This is why we put this segment in because even when you win, there's things you cannot accept because when you get into games against a top 10 team, you get into close games, these are the things that cost you. So what did you see yesterday that you cannot accept in the win, but definitely not going to accept in a loss if you're a coach and you're
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
to
I prefaced it in the last segment. The penalties, the mental lapses in play. Again, you got a player that's experienced enough, that's been playing this game long enough. Even at the college level, there's things that you go over, as a team collectively, and you're told, hey, listen, the rules have changed this year. We don't do X, Y, Z. The position coaches go over them with you. The head coach go over them with you. So the amount of penalties that we're getting, especially on special teams, um, I wouldn't accept those in a win that I wouldn't accept in a loss. The unaccountability, man. It's like the team. And again, I'm not coming down on them. I'm proud of them. For the amount of the step that they have taken this season, in contrast. I mean, excuse me, in comparison to where they were last season at this time. Last season, this time we were fighting to get to a bowl game, but they've
you. And
improved.
the year before,
Yeah,
they're taking a
and
leap.
year before, so they have improved. They are taking positive steps, but like you mentioned, Chris, like you prefaced it, Chris, before we got into this, these are the things that come back and bite you. And if you're watching that game on yesterday, it's frustrating because it's like they're not being corrected. So the accountability for me, the accountability. I was watching us play that game, and I think one of Oregon players got a penalty for celebrating, standing over a USC player. And then before they cut to commercial, they saw Dan Lannon chewing them out. Now, I'm not saying that Riley doesn't get onto his players, but at some point, you're going to have instant correction whenever they mess up. Tough love is good also. So for me, it's going to have to be the accountability. Who's holding these players accountable for continuously making having these same mental lapses in the games that eventually costed us yesterday.
All right. So for me, just to sum up everything you said, is basically it's the undisciplined play that we seen, right? Um, the mental lapses, right?
Right.
The signs of the game was there from our first kickoff, to be honest, because we seen something we haven't seen all year. That Ryan Thierry kicked the ball out of bounds,
It's out
right?
of bounds, right?
And it was
It's out
like,
of bounds,
it was like that was a sign of what's to come for the special teams that day, right? It just got worse and worse. The next special team play, the gunner, the guy clearly calls a fair catch, you hit him, right?
Right.
Then the punt return, then the missed field goal. I mean, just the lapses, man, the undisciplined play. Um, I know you love to play. Jacoby Lane all over their sideline trying to get a football back
Right.
after an
Right.
interception, right? Just we catch a ball, right? And I mean, did we not learn from Nebraska? We look over to their sideline, spin the ball, and say whatever we
Yeah.
say. Another 15. So it was just the undisciplined play, and also the undisciplined play within the whistle. Right, that stuff there is
Mhm.
undisciplined play after the whistle, but it was the undisciplined play within the whistle too, as well. As like we're still seeing linebackers not shoot the right gaps. Um, I don't know if you remember, but we're looking on live and we're like what's going on? Oregon says hike, they run a
Yeah, I
sweep
remember
left.
that. I remember that.
They run a sweep to their left, to the offense left, and our linebacker is standing straight up looking to the defense left. And he's way
Uh-huh.
behind, and they get what 12, 15 yards. Like we gotta cannot accept undisciplined play. Have to clean that up. The play of the front seven, I think I say this every week, like has to be a priority this offseason, right? From interior guys and linebackers, right?
Mhm.
Spend whatever you can in the portal. You gotta we gotta do something, right?
Right.
Um, you can't continue to accept the play from the front seven every week, especially in the running game. I mean, it's been an Achilles heel for us since game one. Turnovers offensively have to clean it up, right? We're
Right.
we're not we're not in a position as a team right now where we can have 2 and 3 turnovers against the elite teams and expect to come out and win, right? We're not there yet defensively.
Right.
Hoping to get there real soon, but we're not there. You have some teams across the nation, they can do that, but they have a stout defense, right? That can
Mhm.
overcome that. We can't do that, right? We cannot continue to turn the ball over on offense. We have to keep the ball. Uh, I've only said this twice this year, and this is the second time I'm going to say it because it's happened twice this year. The O line cannot get beat by 4 men.
Hmm.
We seen it against Oregon, and I talked about this in our film study and preference that this cannot happen. We seen it against Notre Dame. We couldn't run the ball against a 4 man front. And not just a 4 man front. It was times that it was only 4 men in the box or 5 men in the box. We had the numbers, and we still couldn't run the ball. That
That's
can't
true.
happen. Your O line cannot get beat by a 4 man front because when teams can just stop your run with 4 and pressure the quarterback with 4, that means they can drop 7, right? That's why a lot of times we were seeing wide receivers doubled and triple team because they were only sending 4 and they were winning. That cannot happen. O line cannot get beat by just a 4 man front. Have to be able to run it out of it. You have to be able to protect and pat against a 4 man front. It can't happen. Special teams play. The special teams play yesterday. Probably I don't know if I ever seen a special team
It was horrible.
play that bad. Like I don't think I've ever like in the history of watching football like a bad day in special teams. Like sometimes you miss a
Mhm.
field goal, you get a kickoff return or something like that. But special teams was awful yesterday on
Yeah.
in kickoffs and punts and
Yeah.
field goal and field goal block. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like
Right.
we killed ourselves in every area of special teams yesterday. And I don't think I've ever seen a football game in the history of playing football in high school and college and Pop Warner and watching it already. Like I have never seen a special team performance that bad before
Right.
that I can recall. And
That's
so
true.
those are things that I can't accept that has to be cleaned up, has to be rectified ASAP. All right, moving right along. Your fight on play of the game. What was your play of the game?
I would have to say, I'm gonna go defense because I got a feeling you're gonna go. I got a feeling you're gonna go offense. I got a feeling you're gonna go offense, so I'm gonna go defense. I want to say that the interception by Kennedy Urlacher. You know,
Okay.
he had this is his first interception on the season. You would think when you think of Kennedy Urlacher, you think of run support. Come down the hill, get up in the box and help make tackles, and he's pretty much a sure tackler. But dropped back in coverage, saw the pass coming his way, hit it up into the air, caught it, and got some yards, some positive yards out of that pick. So for me, it's going to be Kennedy Urlacher. If you notice when he picked the ball off, they gave the offense because we had just turned the ball over. I can't remember whether or not it was on downs or whether or not It was
interception.
it was an interception. Yeah, so yeah, it was. It was. You're correct. So he came right back, gave the ball back to the offense, which gave us an opportunity to go down and score. So for me, it's going to be um, Kennedy Urlacher's interception.
Hey, and what you say about the hidden stack, the
Mhm,
penalties, we
mhm.
get it, we get an interception and get a penalty on it. Like
Right.
that just sums up the type of
Yeah,
day we
they
were
gave a
having.
penalty to Cam Crawford, didn't they, for holding or something like that?
Yeah, but we still got the ball though. All right,
Yeah.
my fight on play of the game. You're right. I'm going offense. It's going to be Makai Lemon to
I
Nuke
knew
Hines.
it. I knew it.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
Hey,
that's why I let you have it. I was like, he going offense. I know who he going
hey,
with. Okay.
hey, that was my play of the game. You know how I feel about that play.
Yeah,
We were
yeah, I
struggling
know, I
against
know, I
we were
know.
struggling almost a year to this date last year against
Uh-huh.
UCLA, right? And on
Right,
that last drive, he hit Kyrie Hudson with that same play.
right,
We
right,
tried to run it in Notre Dame, it didn't work. You know how I feel about that. I didn't
right.
mind the play call because I've seen them do it before, and now I've seen them do it again. So that was my fight on play of the game was the touchdown pass
Let me
to
ask
from
you a question though. Let me ask you a question. Was the throw better than the catch? You got to pick one.
the
You got to
catch,
pick one. The catch was
the
better.
catch, the catch.
Hey, Tanook Hines got up off the floor, man.
Yeah, that young man went up there. It
He
got us,
climbed it out and got that one. Shout out
yeah.
to Nook
But
Hines, man.
it was basically a jump ball, but
Yeah, it was. It
for
was.
a wide receiver,
Oh
it was a
yeah,
good tight spiral though, and put it in a position he could get
it
it
was a
so,
good
too
throw,
though.
but
So,
that
yeah,
catch was
I
something
said a
different.
catch.
Uh
I
huh.
said a catch, man.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to our next segment. Your Trojan horse game changing play of the game. What
I'm
play
gonna
you seen
say,
yesterday that
yeah,
changed the whole complexity of this game?
it had to be, and I'm not gonna call out his name. Everybody know who he is. Number 2, 3, our linebacker. I expect more out of the kid. I expect for him, especially going into next season. I expect for him to be a leader. But when he committed that infraction on the field goal, we had pretty much held them. The defense, was starting to really catch their groove, and that gave the ball right back to them. We would at least held them to a field goal. And I want to say at the time, we were only down 14 points, I believe. Yeah, we were only down 14 points. So at most they get a field goal, 17 points. We go down,
No, no, no,
again.
no. We was only down one score.
We was only down one score. Okay,
We was
okay.
only down.
My
We was
mistake.
only down one. We was only down one
Okay,
score, and
my
then
mistake. Yeah.
yep.
Yeah, so and that changed everything because you got to think about it, man. They had spent some time getting them off the field, and when you get in position to get them off the field, you commit a penalty like that when you know you're not supposed to jump over the center. Um, that changed everything for the game. But that it was like almost as like it was Murphy's law. Everything that was meant to go wrong did go wrong. You
It
understand what I'm
did
saying?
yesterday.
So, but I don't think that I've seen a game to where this. I would say I would. You know what? I would place this solely on the special teams yesterday, man. What costed this game? At least costed it to be a closer game than what it should have been. So for me, the game changing play was that play, and I'm sure he feels bad after the fact, but you got to remember, you got to stay mentally focused. Things you know you shouldn't do in games like that, don't do it because the referees have the option to call it or not. We could say, well, hey, look, the line they get, I see players jump over the line, jump over linemen all the time. That's true, but is it is it against the rules? Yeah, it's against the rules. So again, when you're on the road like this, you're struggling to get stops. Your offense is struggling to run the ball. You don't want to do anything to help the opponents out, and that, in my opinion, really changed. What really was the beginning of the end to me, in my opinion. That's what really changed the whole trajectory of that game.
Got you. So my Trojan horse game change play the game is the same one.
Mhm.
But this is why. I mean, special teams did play bad, but I mean, this is a total team loss, right? I mean,
Mhm.
it just wasn't special. Special teams was a big part of it, but it was a total loss. And the reason I'm gonna say that is because our defense was reeling as normal, right? They couldn't get off the field, they couldn't get stops. I mean, Oregon was going down with ease. Wide receivers were wide open, right? But here's the thing: we were down 7, and we were getting into that point to where we were going into it was about to be halftime, and Oregon was going to get the ball back, right?
Right,
And what did we say on the pregame? This is not a team you can go down offense. You can go down 14 points to. It's
right,
going to be hard to come back. It's not Iowa. It's not Northwestern. It's not Nebraska. And
right,
so we're down one score, right? They're going right down the field on the D's again, right? We get them to a fourth down to where they have to settle for a field goal, and then they miss the field goal, but we get a penalty for jumping over the center. So
right,
to me, that changed the whole complexion of the game because now where we about to get the ball, because he missed the field goal, we give them a first down and they scored 2 plays later to go up 14 points. And like you said, they went up 14. It was the beginning of the end. I mean, we
right.
said it going into the game. You cannot go down 14 points to this offense, right? You just can't. And that right there to me changed the whole complexion
Mm-hmm.
of the game. So
It
we
did.
both agree that's the on that same play. All right. All right. Your Trojan horse impact players of the game, offense and defense. Who you got?
On offense, man. To me, I don't know whether or not he's won the impact player of the game this season so far, but I'm going to say Tanook Hines. Um, he caught that touchdown in the corner. He got the pass from Makai Lemon. Shout out to Makai. He had a buck 40, 7, 8 catches for a buck 40 in a tub. Listen, man, that we talking about the future. Again, I anticipate that Makai Lemon is going to come out. He's going to win a Bolitnikov going into the NFL. We probably talk about a top 15 pick, probably the first or the second wide receiver taken off the board. So this kid, I expect for him to step right into those shoes. Now, will he be able to fill those shoes? The very first season, that remains to be seen. But I do believe that this kid is special, man. Um, he has the it factor. He's got that it factor. On defense, I'm gonna have to say Kennedy Erlacher. He has some big shoes to fill. I want to say he's taken Fitzgerald's spot due to injury. Came in, he got some good run support, but he got the interception for the secondary. So he came in, played tough, and you got to remember he made an impact play last game against Iowa, was pretty much put us in pole position, prime position to look forward to a potential playoff run, right? So that's 2 weekends in a row that he's strung together and made big plays on, impacting plays, gave the ball right back to the offense after we had turned the ball over. So on offense, I want to say Tanook Hines. On defense, I want to say Kennedy Erlacher.
All right. So we have the same, man. I was kind of I was like,
Uh,
man, I was like, yeah, Hines hit the dude late on the punt for no reason after a fair catch. He got the personal foul for spinning the ball after a big catch. But what that kid did, man, I'm not gonna take that away for two.
you
You
just
know what
got
I'm
to have a
saying?
conversation with him. You just got to have a
Yeah, yeah,
conversation with
he's
him.
young,
And
and
he's truly one of the young players.
yeah, yeah. Well, if you look at a lot of the big mistakes yesterday, it was by our young players. As
Right,
far as the crazy penalties and things like that.
right,
Um, you know what I'm saying? And yes, they played at Notre Dame, but with everything that was on stake and which was on Oxen, playing at Oxen and Oregon as well. A
right,
lot of them that's their first time going there. We're one of the youngest teams in the Big Ten, and yesterday we seen a lot of the young players, make a mistake. That comes
right,
with playing younger players, right? It's
right,
growing pain, but at the same time, you got to put those younger players out there. That's the only way they're gonna grow and mature. So they're gonna be better for it. They're gonna learn from it. Defensively, I mean, Erlacher got an interception. I got to give it to Erlacher. No one else stood out. No one
right,
else was a game record. No one else, right, was constantly. I know Stevens led us in tackles, but the majority of them was 5, 6, 7 yards down the field. So it was really hard to find a defensive player or game. But I'm going to give it to Urlacher because that interception was big. It was timely. It gave us opportunity to get back in the game, especially when we were finding it hard to get off the field. So I'm going to go with those same players. So shout out to Nuke Hines and also Brian Urlacher, Kennedy Urlacher,
Yeah,
Kennedy Urlacher for our Trojan Horse Impact Players of the Game. All right, moving right along. It's that time.
Yeah.
Let's get into our down series. All right, first down. What did you learn, if anything, about this USC football team for the game yesterday versus Oregon?
I learned that we're not there yet. I learned that we're on the right track, but in order for us to get to that next level, that first tier, we're gonna have to get better in the trenches, and that's offensive line, defensive line, and linebacker play. Secondary, they've been okay this season. They've been up and down, but for the most part, they've gotten some time to turnovers when we needed them. But and we have the experienced coaches out there teaching techniques, but there was a question that came up: is this a talent issue or execution issue? And I think was it you that said both? You think it's both?
No, it wasn't me.
That wasn't you. Maybe there was somebody else.
I
But
think that was maybe. Yeah,
but
no, that wasn't me.
yeah. But we got to get some more depth. So if we're saying that we need some more depth and we need some more experience along those trenches, it might be a talent issue. I would like to think that our talent is just young, and we got we got some more young talent coming in next season, providing that the recruiting class hold up. When you talk about the likes of Wingfield and which I heard a lot of schools are going after him here, but we have to get into a whole recruiting show one day. We talk about Tom that's coming in. We got the young talent that's currently not playing right now, even the ones that's playing.
But the difference between those two guys that you named that's coming in and what we have now, those guys are 330-ish.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Size, right?
Yeah.
Our biggest problem right now on the interior is that our best guys are undersized to be playing inside. Really, Thanos and Tompkins really should be on the edge, and they play great on the edge. But you're asking these 296 guys to be in there getting doubled by centers.
Even with Floyd Boucard, I think that even when you talk about the likes of Floyd Boucard, when you add him in there too, and the other kid that's out of Texas, I don't think we've seen much of him. I think he's going to redshirt. I can't think of his name right now. Gus Cordova, that's him. I think the future is bright. We don't have the size right now, like you said.
We need to get bigger in the interior.
We need to get bigger on the interior.
Not just bigger. We need bigger interior.
If we're going to remain, especially if we're going to remain in a conference like this, you understand what I'm saying? The Big Ten. You would see in the past those Pete Carroll teams. He had size on the interior, but the difference is he didn't play them week in and week out. So every time we saw him, Pete Carroll had a month to prepare. So you talk about playing them week in and week out, you got to have depth and you got to have experience. And I think we're just lacking both. So I would say the future is bright. I see us moving in the right direction, but we're going to have to beef up those trenches.
Yeah. So I think we have depth, because depth just means bodies, right?
Yeah. Quality.
So we have, there we go. But I think we need some guys on the inside, man. That's we need the beef on the inside, but they need to be dogs. Those talented. We tried to get it in the portal last year, like we didn't get the return on investment on what we got in the portal. Like the team, the coaching staff, they did what they did. They got the guy was ranked number 1, right, in the portal. We got the best one that was available. Unfortunately, what we got just wasn't what we paid for, and we haven't seen a return on investment on it. But we still have to go all in. You have to take the gamble this year again. You have to you have to get some guys in the inside who can hold up, who can take on doubles and not be moved, not be washed out, not be pushed 5 or 6 yards, back, right? Unfortunately, our best interior guys, man, are undersized. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they really should be playing on the edge, but you have to do what you have to do. Hindsight is 2020. I don't know if you remember when I told you when the lineups came out, the starting lineups came out, and I seen our defensive lineman, and I said, this is a problem. I was like, man, I'm looking at this, and nobody we got in the portal, on either
It's
side of the
starting.
line
It's
is
starting.
starting,
Yeah. Yeah.
even on the offensive side of the ball. Like I was like, that's not good.
Right.
So that was a sign right there of things to come, because I was like, nobody that we got in the portal on the defensive line and offensive line, we thought these guys were coming in to be, we were banking our 10-2 playoff run that, oh, these guys gonna come in and be difference maker. And the first game of the year, they're not even in the starting lineups. And I'm like, that's not good. That's odd. That's strange. That something's not right here. But everything ended up manifesting. So for me, what I learned is the same thing as you. Well, I'm kind of like, we've been kind of saying it, knowing it. What I learned is that we got some young players, right?
Right.
Our youthfulness showed itself
True.
yesterday. For the first time all year, our true youthfulness showed itself yesterday. Like I said, a lot of our youth were accountable for a lot of the things that happened, and that inexperience, but they also made some plays as well. So it
True.
tells me that the future. You said what?
I didn't say anything.
Which shows me I learned that the future is bright. We do. Tune Hines is going to be a stud. He is a stud, right? So the future is bright out there. Um, it also let me know that we're on the right path. USC fans, chill out. I know a lot of you are fire Riley and fire this and all that, and you just have to take a step back and look where this program was, when he came. I was having a conversation with someone today, and for some odd reason, they think Dan Lanning came into the same situation as Lincoln Riley, which is totally false,
No,
right?
no, you
We,
did.
we know that first year that Riley got there, the reason we had that great year is because we had a top portal class that came in. And if you look at all those players we had for that one year, they're all in the NFL and they were high draft picks, right? And they're playing well. The next year, because we didn't have NIL together, we couldn't get the Derek Harmons and all that in there. We got
Right.
outbid. You remember? You remember
Right.
we had them and people were saying they're gonna come, and then we was getting outbid and stuff because our NIL wasn't together. So it's definitely not the same. They did not come into the same situation, right? But where we're at now with our GM, our facility coming, everything we just got, 10 months ago in January, right? NIL finally together. We're on the right trajectory, right? You look at the past 2 seasons and where we're at now, with Riley classes starting to trickle in, you know what I'm saying? And we seeing the players that he's bringing in and what they're doing, and with this 26 class coming in, we're on the right trajectory.
Right.
It would have been nice to make the playoffs, right? We definitely wanted to make the playoffs, but I don't think anyone, if we're being honest with ourselves, thought we would win a national championship this year anyway.
No.
You know what I
No.
mean? So we're on the right path. We're on the right trajectory. The 26 class is coming in, number one. The 27 class is, we're going to have a top class for that. And that's what it takes. All the teams you're talking about and you want to compare our program to, look at their recruiting classes for the last decade. Look at Ohio State, Alabama, Oregon. Top 5, top 6 recruiting classes over the past decade. That's what it takes to build quality depth. That's what it
Yeah.
takes to build a championship team. You got to be able to stack top recruiting classes year after year after year. That's how you do it. And that's, now that we got NIL together, that's what you're seeing coming. And this team has grown so much from last year, so much from the year before, and what we're seeing. You asked Riley to win on the road, right? We got the team. We exercised that demon a few times this year, right? So there's steps that have been taken. So if you can get out your anger and your hurt, and you just look at where this team is now from what this team was last year, and the things you were saying at the beginning of the year, you will see a lot of the boxes have been checked off this year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Moving on to second down. What surprised you most about this game? What did you see that you did not expect?
I didn't expect for us not to be mentally prepared. Um, there was a lot of, and we talked about it earlier. We had a lot of mental lapses out there on the field when it came, down to um, getting off the field. It came down to, uh, I think, and don't get me wrong. Again, I'm not coming down on these kids, man. I'm really not. But when you're in a position like this, when you're given the opportunity, when you earn the opportunity like this, you got to make sure that you're clicking on all cylinders, which means that you need to be mentally prepared. You're going to be pulled into some crazy situations. You got to use your head. It's good to be tough, but you also got to use your head in certain situations. Again, I don't want to continue to beat down on the kids, but I was surprised that we weren't mentally ready to play this game from an overall perspective. I think the coaches had the guys prepared, but I think maybe the moment was just a little too big for them to where they made a lot of childish. Um, I wouldn't say childish, but I would say immature. They committed a lot of immature penalties out there. I think the moment may have been too big for them. And I posed a question during a live. You know, well, more so made the statement. I don't think that they're ready for this type of atmosphere yet, or this type of responsibility yet. We're growing, we're young. We've always said that we're young. And of course, we believe in the team, but I would have expected for them to be a little bit more mentally prepared than what we were on yesterday.
All right. What surprised me most about this game was how poorly special teams played in
Mm,
every aspect of
yeah.
special teams. I like I said, I've never seen a game where every area of special teams crumbled. Right?
Hmm.
Kickoff, check. We messed up there. Punt, check, messed up there. Punt return, check, messed up there. Field goal, check, messed up there. Field goal block, check, messed up there. You see what I'm saying? Like
Right.
I've never seen that. Where am I missing any special teams? No, that's every area of special teams. We had an issue, right? Kickoff,
Hmm.
kicking the ball out of bounds, giving them the free yards, right? Um, well, kickoff return. We didn't do anything in kickoff return, right? We didn't mess up there. Punt. Guy called a fair catch. We hitting him after the after he fair catch for no reason, right?
Right.
Messed up there. Punt return. Gave up a punt return for a touchdown. Messed up there. Field goal. Missed the field goal. Messed up there. A 27 yarder. Field goal block. The guy missed the field goal, but we jump over the center, give him the ball back. They
Hmm.
scored a touchdown. Messed up. I That surprised me. I just have never seen anything like that, and I don't even know if anybody in their right mind and go into the game and say we're going to dominate them, that we're going to beat them in every area of special teams. Like you just don't think about every area of special team that you will mess. You know what I mean? That's very
Right.
rare and very strange. So I definitely didn't expect that. Third down. All right. So the third down question. Let me bring it up.
Third down is it's the season.
No, 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 no,
No,
no.
no, it was something else.
Third down is did Oregon beat us
Oh, okay,
or
yeah.
did Oregon beat us or did we aid them in the win? Did we beat ourselves?
I think it was the latter. I think we aided them and beat them. If you go back and look at the game, like I said, doing the men lie, women's lie, numbers never lie, but they can be misleading. If you go back and look at that game, a lot of the points that Oregon scored, it was off of our mental breakdown and off of special teams. Um, like and again, I don't want to continue to beat a dead horse, but um, Oregon, we went score for score with Oregon. Well, the game was lost was on special teams, and you mentioned again in the last segment on second down that you've never seen a team play so poorly on special teams. We just gave the ball back to them time and time and time again. And again, we said it. You can't give a team like this you can't spot them two scores and then expect to come back because they can run and they can pass. But how did they get to where they got to? I think we more so aided them than they beat us. They didn't dominate us. We I think this is a game I can truly rest on the team itself. We beat ourselves. So I want to say the latter. We aided them in beating us.
I'm gonna say it's both. They beat us, and we contributed to them beating us. They didn't dominate us or anything, but defensively wise, we had no answer for them all day on the ground or in the air.
We
Right?
did get some stops
They
though. We got stops.
we got a couple, but we had no answer for them. Whenever they needed to go score, they scored. Even if it was when we cut the lead to one possession, they went right down the field and scored. And special teams had nothing to do with that. You
Hmm.
know what I'm saying? The first half, I mean, they were getting wherever they wanted. I mean, it for most of the drives in this game, we didn't even get them the third down. Like they were getting first downs on first and second. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So they beat us. No excuses. They beat us. But our undisciplined play did aid them in it. I mean, if you look at the amount of yards we gave them, we had over 100 yards in penalties, and most of those were dead ball fouls.
Right.
You know what I mean? Um, and when we did get a stop, we would do something crazy like jumping over center and give them the ball back, and they would continue to drive, and score. I can't take anything away from Oregon. We lost. They beat us, but our undisciplined play definitely aided them in it. Um,
I'm not.
the
I'm not. I'm not saying that. Okay, we stopped them 100%. But even going back to that infraction that was committed on the field goal, like you said, we were only down one score. At worst, we hold the field goal kicker hits the field goal. Either way, we get the ball right back, but we get the ball right back to them. That's what I'm saying. We had every opportunity to match
they
them
make a
score for
field. They
score.
make a field goal. That's still a 2 point possession
But
game. That's
it's
still
only 10
2 points.
points and it's not 14 points, though. That's the big difference heading into halftime. If you remember, Oregon got the ball right back after halftime.
Yeah,
So again, the defense, kudos to the defense. Lynn has made adjustments, but we can't continue to help the other team beat us. And I think just my opinion, going back and reflecting on what I saw, we helped Oregon beat us more
here's
than
here,
so they
and,
beat
and
us.
I understand your opinion, but my
Yeah,
my
yeah.
opinion my opinion is that Oregon beat us. We
Hmm.
did aid them, right? Like
Right,
we
right,
we
right.
had some undisciplined play and all that,
Yeah,
but at the
yeah.
same
Most
time,
definitely. Most definitely.
but at the same time, they beat us too. We didn't have an answer for them defensively. Whenever they needed a score, they went and got it. Whenever we had to make a stop, we had no answer for them on the ground or through the air. I mean, how many times did they run a screen and they had us out leveraged with four receivers over there and we had two
Mhm.
defensive backs, right? How
Right,
many times we seen wide receivers running wide open? We're talking about this
right.
field goal, right? When he jumped over. I mean, how did they get to the 20-yard line? They went right down the field on the defense,
But
right?
even with them marching right down the field and get to the 20-yard line, guess what they were doing at the end of the day? They were kicking a field goal. That, to me, that's
At
a
one that
success.
so that
Considering
so hold on.
that, well,
So
go
hold
ahead.
on. So that was one time because every other time
Mhm.
was a touchdown, but that was one time. And yes, they got the ball back. They still was on their 20. They were
How many
still on their
times did
20.
they punt yesterday? I think they punted at least twice yesterday, didn't
They were still on their 20 yard. They were still on their 20-yard line, right? They were still on their 20-yard line,
they? Hmm.
and there still was an opportunity to make a stop to get off the field and hold them to a field goal, and it didn't happen.
That's true. I agree with that. I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? You're saying they punted two times yesterday and one interception, three stops in the game against the number 7 team in the
You you
nation.
you give
That's not
you
going to
give
work.
me you give me three stops in that game, and you give me a Lincoln Riley offense. If special teams is not killing themselves, you give me a Lincoln Riley offense. We ended up with what 27 points. You give
27.
me you give me three stops in a Lincoln Riley offense. I say you got a chance, but you can't. make that many blunders on special teams and expect to come out with a positive victory. Again, you take away those blunders and the opportunities we had to get off the field when we had them at least to a field goal. Now you're talking about instead of 7 points, you're talking about 3 points. Now with 3 points, now with that much closer with a Lincoln Riley offense, I think you got a chance. But I agree with you. You can't make excuses. We lost the game. We flat out lost that game, and it was we had the opportunity to get to where we wanted to get to. I agree with
No,
that 100%. We lost that game.
Yep. And I agree. We both saying the same thing.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I'm saying this both. I'm saying they
yeah.
beat us, and we aided in it because outside of our mistakes, they still were beating us in every area of the game defensively wise. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Our offensive line, the front four was getting beat by a 4-man rush. Right? They were definitely beating us in the rush game. We couldn't do anything in the run game against a 4-man front, a 5-man box most of the time. You know what I'm saying? And so it was both. So I can't just put this all on special team because there was other areas in our team that was beat as well.
Right, right.
Moving right along the fourth down. All right. We got UCLA coming up, right?
Right.
We have opportunity to go 9-3. I know you're looking forward to the bowl game. I don't really care about bowl games because nobody team is the same. If it ain't the playoffs, many kids are gonna be getting ready for the NFL and all that. Bowl games are just not the same no more now with the playoffs. But so we have opportunity to go 9-3, 10-3. But let's just look at regular season because we don't know what bowl game we're gonna be ending up in and who we
It
playing and
should be a
predict.
good. It should be a pretty good bowl game if you're 9-3.
I mean, most all the good bowl games are playoff games. So all the good bowl games are playoff games. We got to remember the playoff games are the bowl games, and all the big time Fiesta, Orange, all that stuff. Those are playoff games. So I mean, but so let's just look at the season. We got the baby Bruins come up, right? We both expecting us to bounce back, win that game, go 9-3. We didn't
Right.
make the playoffs this year. With a 9-3 record, not making the playoffs. Do you consider this season a failure?
No, I consider this season, like I said, a step in the right direction. You have to remember, at the beginning of the season, when when we were giving our season projections, you and I both said 10-2 ceiling, 9-3 floor, right?
Mm-hmm.
We weren't one of the ones. And this, let me preface this: I'm not knocking on anybody. We weren't saying 12-0 and 11-1. We never said that. We said 10-2, 9-3. Well, where are we now? We're in a position to go 9-3 and get the double-digit win in the bowl game. You look at Lincoln Riley's history. Since he's been at USC, last two bowl games he's won. The first year we went 11-2 in the regular season, but we lost the bowl game to Tulane in the Cotton Bowl. His past two seasons, he won both the bowl games. So I'm looking for them to have the same amount of success. We got 8 quarters left in this season at the minimum with the last regular season game and the bowl game. Now the question is, who's going to be at the helm in the bowl game? That's going to be the bigger question. Who's going to be at quarterback? But we'll cover that in another show. But no, I see it as a successful season because I didn't expect for us to go more better than 10-2 anyway. And again, I said 9-3 was also a possibility, so I'm right on par.
All right. To answer your question, I think Jaden Miles is going to be at the helm. I think he's coming back. So
Hmm.
we'll see where
Yeah.
it's not a real quarterback heavy year this year. So I don't know. Maybe he does take it, especially if he get a first round grade and he go. But I think he likes the development he's getting. He likes the program. Our GM, I know he's big on trying to keep the best players, the come back, kind of do what Ohio State did last year, right? And win national championship by having a senior oriented team, people with experience on there and getting them to come back. But we'll see. To me, it's not a failure. Um, to me, like you said, 10-2, 9-3 is what we were looking at the beginning of the season. We were saying 10-2, the formula, right? Win every home game, which we have so
Hmm.
far, right?
Right.
We had Purdue big. We had Purdue pegged as a win on the road, right? We
Right.
said it was going to come down to Illinois, Nebraska, Oregon, and Notre
Notre
Dame.
Dame.
Those road
Right.
games. If we can go 2-2. Unfortunately, we went 1-3. That's why we were saying 10-2, 1-3, because we knew all those were going to be hostile places to go,
Right.
right? On
Right.
on the road, we know the struggles we had. That's past tense on the road. We still haven't played great on the road, but we got those monkeys from our back on the Eastern Standard Time Zone. We got two wins, what I'm saying, this year on the road. So to me, this is a luncheon pad year. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? It is not a failure. Yes, we would have liked to make the playoffs, but if you look at the totality of the season in this team and the growth that you have seen from last year, right? And with what this season heading, because what else we said, B? Well, you said, I got to give it to you. I didn't think it mattered, right? But you said we need to go 9-3, 10-2 to keep this 26 class. I
Right.
felt like the class was going to stay regardless because they feel like they're the class that can, turn the program around and be back. I just felt like they were locked in regardless. Um, we'll never know, right?
Right.
But still, with your logic, that's a luncheon pad. It's a successful
Right.
season. You
Oh
see what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. Most
Um,
definitely.
to keep that because these kids they were at the Michigan game, right? They were at the Iowa game, our biggest recruit class, and they felt the environment and things like that. And people gonna say the expectation every year is for USC to go undefeated or 10-2 or 11-1. 9-3 is unacceptable. I mean, you think about how many 10-win seasons we done had in the last decade, and you
Not
telling
many.
me that
Not many.
that's what I'm
You say
saying.
one. I can count one.
Riley had one,
And
and I
I
don't
think
even.
of that. Clay Helton had one. Clay Hilton had
Yeah,
one.
and Riley had that
And
11 win.
the 2017 when he won the Pac-12 championship.
I think it was 93 when we won that Rose Bowl.
The Rose Bowl was the first year with Juju and Adora. The second year we just had Sam and we had Rojo and we won the Pac-12 championship. The second year
Okay,
that was 2017, and then 2018 is when everything fell apart.
okay.
So
Well,
2016 we won the Rose Bowl because that's the year we lost to Alabama. We came back, we turned the season around. We beat Washington on the road. We beat Oregon at home, and we won a Rose Bowl against Penn State. And then 2017 is when we beat Stanford in the Pac-12 championship.
so again, we're saying we're saying no. In the last decade, we've had two. In 2013, we was 10-4, and 2023 was 11-3.
Mm-hmm.
So that in 2013, that wasn't Hilton. So I don't think Hilton had a 10-win season.
No, Hilton had one in 2017. Go to
I'm looking at
2017.
how many 10-win seasons has USC football had in the past decade? In 2023, 11-3, 2013, 10-4.
10-4 in 2013.
Yep. Uh, But re- re- regardless, we have opportunity to go 9-3. Have opportunity to go 10-3 with the what's the name. I don't consider this a failure of a season because we didn't make the playoffs. If do you remember back in the day when Carson Palmer got the Heisman,
Yeah,
right? That season, and then it pushed the program the next year, and went on that dynasty.
yeah.
Like this is
That's
that
the year
type
they
of year
won
that
it.
could be for us.
That's the year they beat Iowa in the Orange Bowl, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. No,
I think.
a lunching pad year. So I do not
Yeah,
consider this season a failure at all, not one bit.
right.
All right, here we go. That concludes our show. Our wrap up from the USC versus Oregon Ducks game. Again, unfortunately, we came out on the losing end. Only for the third time this season. We're not going to make the playoffs. I seen Joe Clapp put something out a way we can get in, but I'm not about to go through all that.
Yeah, yeah. It'd be too many. It'd be
It's too
too
many.
many variables.
I
It's too
stress
many moving
myself out.
pieces. Yeah, too
Yeah,
many moving pieces. Too many
it's too
variables.
much.
Too much
It's too
bad
much,
stuff got to
man.
happen to
So
other teams. I always
yeah,
say this: if your team is dependent on a bunch of bad stuff to happen to somebody else, then you're not ready.
Right.
You're not
We
ready.
had opportunity. We had opportunity to get it done
Yeah,
ourselves.
it was in our own hands and we fumbled it. So
And
no, you're not
unfortunately, we
ready.
didn't. We came out and played one of the worst first halves all year. We know we had slow starts. The thing about this game is that if you guys go back and watch, you'll see our film study review and all that. And B, it was crazy because we had a list, right? We need to do
Right.
this, this, this. We can't do this, this, this. So the things we needed
Right.
to do, we didn't check any of those boxes. The
That's
things we
correct.
said we can't do, we checked
Right.
every box.
Right.
And at the end of the day, when I looked at that, I'm like, am I surprised we lost when I look at the check sheet of what needs to happen and what
Right.
doesn't need to happen? And we checked everything on what doesn't need to be happening and checked nothing on what needs to be happening. That that will happen. But man, we Trojans through and through. We proud of the boys. The season's not over yet, right? We got to get back on it. Finish this game out at the Coliseum at the house. Finish this regular season up in 93. We got a rivalry game coming in. Um, I hope the boys get their head back on straight, want to finish strong. Don't just give up because the playoffs is not realistic right now. But we're all Trojans, so they're gonna fight on. We're gonna fight on. Win or lose, we're gonna be here. We're gonna support them. We still gonna be here. We still gonna be cheering them on, wishing them the best. Be looking out on Tuesday. We'll drop our grades for sorry. Be looking out Tuesday. We'll drop our grades for this game, USC versus Oregon. Thanksgiving is Thursday. Again, Thursday morning, we'll drop our film study for the UCLA game. Getting ready for that. It'll be out bright and early. You guys enjoy well, I'm not gonna say enjoy your Thanksgiving all that because you're gonna come back Tuesday and watch our
Right.
grade study. So I'll say
Right.
that for the Tuesday show, and also for the Thanksgiving show as well. B, you want to say anything before we get out of here?
Not much, man. We appreciate everybody that joined the live on Saturday. We'll be live again this coming Saturday. Now, one site, ESPN, I checked ESPN, they're saying the game is at 3:30 East Central Time. But I looked on another site and saying it's 6:30. So we'll get back with you when we get a definite time. Again, we appreciate everybody that showed up, everybody that joined the live call-in show. Continue to like the channel, like the videos, continue to subscribe to the channel and share the content. As we continue to grow this channel, we appreciate everybody that has been, come out and subscribe to the channel. We appreciate, the support.
All right, man. We appreciate everybody, man. Until later on, as always, Trojan family, keep your head up. The future is bright. We're building. We're heading in the right direction. We gonna get there, man. Hey, as always, fight on, fight on.
Fight on.